Hey everyone, it's Trader Rob. Today is Monday and it's the start of a new trading week. Let's see if we can extract some profits from the market. And as always, nothing that I state on this channel is financial advice. Trading futures or any type of trading is risky business. Any capital that you put out there is at risk for loss. All right, so today, Monday, December 4th. We are at a beginning of a new trading week. Pretty excited about the week. Excited to see what this bot can do this week. See if it can get us out of this small hole that we've kind of dug ourselves into here. And let's take a look real quick at how our strategies fared this morning. So our first setup showed up in gold. Let me open that up here. So we had a nice setup here this morning. Let me remove this just to make it. We got an inside bar at 8:05 in the morning. And so we obviously had our short entry at the bottom of the inside candle, long at the top of the inside candle. We got activated to the short. Our risk, bring this down a little bit, at the top of our source candle, which is our candle to the left, was 57 ticks. We bring it down to 35 ticks, which is my max stop loss after 40 ticks and higher. And we put our target at 35. Boom, we hit this target, I would say, in a matter of a minute and a half to 2 minutes today. So $350 winner in gold this morning. So awesome trade, super easy, nice setup right there. Let's bring this one down. And then let's take a look at oil. Oil hurt me today a little. Show you why. All right, so we got an inside candle here that formed at 8:25 this morning. And man, it literally got us into a long by the tick and reversed on me. We took a loss there of 21 ticks. So still up for the session in the morning. But with that being said, I know there's some traders in my Discord that trade with a tick offset. I trade with a tick offset on my NQ trades. I'm thinking about adding this to the strategy of a tick, because obviously a tick higher here, and we get a beautiful short to full take profit. And in theory, it doesn't really, if it's going to activate to the long, it's a tick. So, the problem is, when you get take profits that are exactly to the tick, maybe I do a tick offset, but I still stay to my rules if it was from the activation of the source candle. I don't know. I'm going to look at that. I might make an updated video adding that offset in oil and possibly in gold as well, just to kind of get you out of these trades. A tick here cost me 210 bucks. So currently looking for a setup in session 2, but that has not shown its face yet. All right, let's put this guy back. All right, so we're ready for oil here. Cool. And took a loss on my 835 NQ trade this morning. So overall, I'm down right now. I'm in the red by a small margin. I think about 100 bucks I'm down. So I had a nice trade in gold. Lost first oil. Lost the NQ. So looking for oil for session 2 to be a hero. That's what it's coming down to. The bot. So We do have some updates. There is going to be, like as I mentioned to you guys prior, there is going to be an addition of the overnight open trade that's going to be added to the spot. We should be receiving that shortly. That'll be a very nice update to the bot. I think I've already mentioned that there's going to be a few buttons up here to turn on and off certain gold line trades, like the 1 minute gold line, the 5 minute gold line, and the 5 minute red line. You'll be able to turn them on and off really from here, instead of having to go into the strategy every time and manually having to do that, which is a real pain in the ass. So no trades yet this morning. We are, let me see, should have probably had this. Sorry, let me get this over here. And let's take a look at where we stand. Here we go. All right, here's where we stand on the challenge. Nope, that's the wrong date. It's less than that. Sorry. Previous one was day 4. This is day 5. So we are at 45.03. That's where the challenge sits. We had a pretty good loss there on Friday, 2 losing days in a row. So really looking for the bot to hopefully find a decent setup here this morning. And I mean, the nice thing is that one 5 minute gold line or 5 minute red line trade can put us right back into the green. That's the beauty of it. So are we looking for a home run? Yeah, we're kind of looking for a home run. So let's see what the rest of the day has in store for us. Stick around for my trade recaps and the summary of the entire day.
Order submitted.
All right, here we jump right into a trade in oil on we're looking for a short on a 5 minute red line. So here was my initial thought. My initial thought was I like the trade just because we've had some really good movement today in oil, really in both directions. And I said, well, if we can continue the downward trend here, all of these targets, you know, the big targets in play, and that blue pivot labeled target is also in play. Then, you know, I started to look at the chart a little bit closer, and then I saw, obviously, you see the black candle, which is the candle that pretty much thrusted itself all the way into that 5 minute red line. And then I said to myself, I'm like, well, that was kind of one just really, really solid move. Shows a lot of buyers, you know, obviously pushing price upwards. So then I didn't start to get the best feeling on the trade after really looking at the chart even a little bit further. I would have rather seen a slower pullback into maybe that 5 minute gold line or the 5 minute red line. So I start to kind of, you know, think about all these things in the trade, and I'm saying to myself, you know, best case scenario, we can get to that
order submitted.
Blue, you know, where I moved my stop loss. I just figured if we do get a move down, that's an area where I could definitely see price action go to. But we're still in the trade, but again, not the best feeling. Actually, I kind of realized it about a minute.
Order submitted.
A minute into
into this trade, I really saw that huge candle that we had, and I said, meh, that doesn't look very good. But at this point, I'm kind of pot committed into this trade, so I'm just hoping that we can get some kind of downward pressure on, have the sellers step in and get price action to try to take me down to my target. And you can see we start to get this is a pretty decent candle there. That's the candle that we'd like to see continuation on, but gets rejected.
Order canceled.
Gets rejected very quickly for a loss in oil. All right, so here,
order filled.
We get a huge push right into the overnight open.
Order filled.
I'm just telling myself this is a trade that I like. You had that strong push, and look at that rejection right off of the overnight open there. So I ended up taking this trade. Felt actually really good about this trade. Had to take it manually. So I just went in and used my overnight open and just kind of adjusted my stops. My thinking here is not taking on too much risk, because the whole strategy on the overnight open is a rejection of the overnight open, and in this case, sellers coming in and pushing price down. So obviously I've got a risk to reward here of, I would say, probably 1 to 4, 1 to 3. And then I figured a good take profit here would be where that big move kind of originated from. I mean, obviously I know there was a bunch of orders right there. So I said to myself, okay, maybe that is a pretty natural place for price action to want to go to. Unfortunately, once I start to see that price action bounced several times, I probably should have punched out right here, because usually that's a good indication that it wants to bust through the overnight open. I think this is where it knocks us out.
Stop filled.
All right, so this one was a kind of a crazy one. I had to speed up this one because this trade did take a while to come to finalization. But here was my thinking here. So we had this huge push straight through that overnight open. Obviously, we lost that trade. And then look at that huge V pattern that we make. I mean, you could just tell, at least I could by looking at the chart, that price action was just begging to go back down to the overnight open. So I actually took an overnight open trade going into the overnight open, not actually a bounce off of it, but thinking that price action is destined to go down to that overnight open. So a little bit risky. Obviously, we had a huge push up. But you know what? I saw the trade, and Bob's always talking about these big circles that the overnight open likes to do, where it'll come from underneath and then tap into it, and then if it goes right through it, sometimes you see this really big stretch up, and then you get this dump right back down into it, testing that overnight open. So I took this trade just looking at the charts, going off of that overnight open, and honestly, just this thing turned out to be a beautiful trade. Super excited at this point. Again, don't have much risk on the table. I put my stop loss right above the pivot, right where I kind of assume price action would hopefully repel it and kind of act as some support for me here. And this thing. Once I saw this move here, I'm like, this thing's going to this overnight open. All right, there you have it. There were the trades that the bot took today. Crazy day with the bot. NQ was super quiet. Didn't actually all three of my trades were in oil, which oil was ripping today. It had some crazy moves in the market. So I was able to kind of, well, I'll just walk you through them. The first trade, as I mentioned, I originally thought, okay, this is a pretty decent 5 minute red line, but then that huge up candle there, I probably should have just sat that one out. But let's get to right here. Right here. This thing shoots up and goes right into this overnight open. And I'm just thinking to myself, this is the perfect trade. This is like the perfect overnight open trade. And unfortunately, I was able to get in quick, and I was able to get maybe 140 bucks in profit, but then this thing just reversed right through me. And I should have realized, once it starts hitting the overnight open just constantly, eventually it's going to try to break through. And sure as shit, it broke right through, took me out of that trade. But here's the beauty of it. Then I saw this thing just completely take a hook around. And I'm thinking to myself, right around here, this thing's going to the overnight open. I mean, this thing wants to tap back into it. So I was able to get into that trade. Thought it was obviously profitable trade, great trade. So I was able to kind of salvage the day. I was down maybe 275 originally, and then that trade, I think, let's see, let's take a look at the P&L. Let me open that up and see where we ended off at. So negative 43 bucks. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. For where we were at to where we got to, I'm pretty happy with how with the trades there. And let's take a look at how the other strategies today fared. As you guys know, let me throw on the gold trade here. Beautiful, beautiful gold trade. Right in the morning, 8:05. Took this thing short for 35 ticks, $350 in profit there. And this thing was just like in and out. I mean, one or 2 minutes, and we got out of that trade for a really nice profit. So super happy with how gold performed today. And then oil was kind of the opposite, but still exciting. And this is the reason why. So we took a loss here in oil, but we literally took this loss by like 1 tick. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to start to look at maybe adding an offset, a 1 tick offset to these orders, just so a situation like this wouldn't happen. Because this thing would have taken us right to our full take profit on the short side by a tick. Either way, it was a loss of 21 ticks, so I was still in a little bit of profit. Then I took my 835 NQ trade, lost that one. So, then I'm thinking to myself, my only other option here is going to be, hopefully I can get something on the NQ 15-minute Rob reversal. And boy, did this one come through. I mean, this was just $700 of just super easy profit on this one. Really, only setup we had today. We got a signal go long. Obviously, close underneath the ADMA, so no trade there. Here we get the short signal to the down. We get in this trade. Same candle takes us for our 35-point profit. $700 profit on one NQ. Just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful trade. We get 2 other setups here towards the end of the day.
They are within our time. Well, the 1245 is closes underneath the ADMA, no trade, and we get one at 115. But again, under the ADMA, no trade. See how these things filter it? I don't. It's just it's crazy, but this is what it does. So overall, I was able to really bounce back on the day today. I was actually, I got pretty excited. Today was a day of highs and lows for sure trading. But man, stick to the program, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the content that I am putting out there. If you do, please smash the like button, leave me a comment, and please make sure to subscribe to the channel. That helps me out tremendously. Thanks everyone. See you tomorrow, and happy trading.